The Wire has got incredible world building. Yeah, we just rewatched all of it. I'm like, man, how did he do that? I'm Bisha K, and I helped to craft the worlds of Miss Marvel, Black Mirror, and Loki. My role as a writer and executive producer runs a huge range of responsibilities depending on the project that I'm working on. As a writer, you're working purely with getting your imagination onto the page and working with other writers to help them get their imagination onto the page and come together with some kind of shared vision. As an executive producer, that then extends to sharing that vision across the whole of the crew, the whole of the cast, and everybody involved in making the project. World building to me is about crafting a reality that your characters can feel really alive in. And that applies to whether you're doing something really grounded, that's a detective story, or whether you're doing something that's really fantastical, like a big fantasy show or a big science fiction show. All of that world building has to feel really real and lived in, has to speak to the inner worlds of the characters as well as what they do in their day-to-day lives. So if you've got world building that doesn't feel like a character in and of itself, then I think you're missing a step. I think the focus has to be on how your characters live in that space and interact with it, both reflecting their internal world, but also how are they at odds with that world around them, and how do they butt up against it, how do they push against it, and that's got to be reflected visually and through the soundscape and through all these other things. You should be able to feel and taste the world around them. I think it's quite a lonely job, writing, even if you're doing it in a collaborative sense, even if you're in a writer's room. When it comes down to it, at some point it's you and a laptop or pen and paper if you're that guy, but you're writing something that fundamentally, after you take away all of the stuff that kind of has been put into our heads around what a script is and what a script's supposed to be, it's really you communing with yourself and then realizing that whatever you put on the page is going to be communed with by so many other craft people who are hopefully at the top of their games. And so you're creating a roadmap for collaboration. And that's something that I try to keep in mind when I'm writing, when I'm feeling very lonely. You collaborate most with either fellow writers, if that's the kind of show or project that you're working on, but ultimately you're always going to be collaborating with your set designers, with your art directors, wardrobe, with costume, with hair and makeup, with your DP, with your directors. That's why it's so important to share a vision, but also be open to other people's ideas of what that vision is. So the more collaborative you are with those groups of people, I think the more effective you can be. I'm inspired by a whole range of things. One, Battlestar Galactica, the reboot. It feels grounded but very real. I feel like I'm on the ships with these people. I feel like I can taste it. I feel like I know the texture of this world really clearly, and it is a character in and of itself. So that's what's one of the key examples for me. The Wire has got incredible world building. Yeah, we just rewatched all of it. I'm like, man, how did he do that? It feels so real. You know those characters. You know what their lives are like. And the final example I'll give of just a script that just on the page, just I reread so often, it's a script for Children of Men. I think it's an incredible script. It's like sleight of hand throughout that script. It's just a really good example to kind of look at over and over again about how a master does their work. I started my career here in the UK. I did a lot of development rooms, a lot of writing on spec, which is writing my own script and getting my skill set up as much as possible. I worked on sex education in the UK, which was such a great experience for me, and it was just when Netflix had commissioned sex education for its first season. So being able to see that built from the ground was really exciting, and I learned a huge amount. Then I went off to the US, and that was really an accelerated path and kind of trial by fire / constantly looking around saying, I can't believe that I'm here. And I spent about 3.5 years out there just working on show after show after show and building my skill set, building my relationship with people and learning about myself and what's important to me in terms of my career. Now I'm back and I've just been working with Charlie on Black Mirror, and that's my career today, and who knows what's next. I think a standout or pinch me moment in my career was the first time that I was able to pay rent, bills and food out of money that I earned just through writing. And I think there are a lot of shinier examples of what a standout moment in your career can be, but for me, coming from where I'm from, that was wild. That was a big day to be able to pay all of my bills just from writing. Is something that I still can't believe that I get to do. The advice I'd give to upcoming writers is to focus on your craft above anything else. Put all your ideas around where you're supposed to be, who you're supposed to be seen with or collaborating with. Put all of that down. Spend all of your time working on how to be the best writer that you can possibly be, or whatever role it is that you want to do in this industry. Because once you have that rock solid, and once you have your process for improving rock solid, nothing else kind of matters. Everything else should start taking care of itself. So my number one piece of advice is focus on the work and then worry about the opinions of others later.